Hello everybody. So I want to show you guys how you would convert your Vue component using the render function or JSX. Vue have this option, built-in option for you. Uh, Convert your template into JSX or render function. It's not very common. Not a lot of developer. There's some opinion about using JSX in Vue, but it's nice to know about it once you get more in depth into Vue. So essentially, what the render function or JSX is, when you have your template under the hood, Vue will convert this into using the render function under the hood for you. So it does the living for you. So let's learn how you would do that. So your your directive will be converted under the hood for you, like your VIF, your V model, and let's see how would you do that using the render function. So I have an app, basic boilerplate. I created. So essentially, it just have a few component that has come with it. The only thing I add is a component for the form, as I started my dev server. So as you can see, I have a home component and about component, and I add a form component. So we're gonna have an input, and then you're gonna have display how to convert like V model, and passing pop down using the render function. So we're gonna spend our time there. So as you can see, the form component have a child component, and I'm rendering the child component, and it's passing taking some pop, and I have input using V model for to bind the text. So as you can see, I can type in the field, and then my child component render that as props. So let's learn how to do that using the render function. So let's convert the app to use the render function. So let's create another component using app.js, and you can see the different side by side. Let me close this down, and let's import Vue from Vue. So now this is a JavaScript file. So with the right JavaScript file, so as you can see, it changed the extension. So, and to be able to create a component in Vue, you can store it. Vue have a method called extend. Essentially, extend will have all the lifecycle in Vue, like create, mount, and destroy, and also it have the render method. Let's export default this render. So what render does is it return a piece of HTML, your template, back to you. So you have to return it. As you can see in your template, you gotta have one root element. So it could be any element, but the most common one is div. So let's create a root element, and let's, instead of typing everything, let's copy this section over. So in Vue extend, it will recognize all your route. This is valid Vue component. It recognize your router, and you switch your Vue. And just to see if it's working, let's have right above the link, let's say app JXX. Let's save this and let's use this one. So in your main.js file, let's change this to use the view, our new JSX component. So as you see, we're using app, the new render this navigation. It's still rendering our form, our other component, which is good, but it is using view template. So let's also convert that. So we got home.view. So let's create another component, home.js. Let's essentially let's so you have to import view from view, then stance home component, and component normally is recommended to name your component Pascal case. View that extend render. We turn some JXX. It's just gonna return a lamella and just have a ptag home component, and then let's do this for the about page. Same. So how I highlight multi cursor on window, you control D to highlight, and you can multi cursor in VS Code. Is a great text editor / IDE. So we create our render function J. So let's change our route to use that instead. Just to be safe, let me say about JXX component here, so we know this is using so let's fail to compile form.js. Yes, because we didn't get to there. Let's create that too. Let's create that form JS. So essentially it's going to be the same as this. Change this to form. Okay, so we got the app JS running our links. As you can see, it's linking to our JXX. So that's how you create up using the render function. But what about the input of v if and v model? What about that? So how would you do that? So and let me have the form side by side, and as you can see, we're gonna have an input and it's gonna have some state. So let's create some state in the data object, data function. Text equal to empty string, And let's, we know this is working. Let's create input. Let's have an input so we can, um, so how does vModel works under the hood? So vModel essentially does two things for you. It set the state for you and also display the state in real time. So as you can see, so let's have something to show in real time. Um, my name is something. So to be able to what vModel does, it set the state for, so under the hood it have a handler and take that input value and set it to state for you. So to be able to have a handler, um, in the Vue documentation we have on. Normally any type of event is start with on input or on change or on click is type of event that's happening. So on input is equal to an object that is referent to something. So to display, to set the state, we're gonna have a method. Object. In your method object you have, let's create a handler set text function, and in your input it will be passed a parameter called event. And let's just log our event just to make sure it's working. So we're using JavaScript. So as you can see, to get reference to the object, and since we inside an object to reference something, you have to use the this keyword. This dot whatever your method or function call this is, we're getting a reference to it as will be bind to the input field. So let's save this, go to my log. As you see it's working. I'm typing something but we're not setting the state yet. As you can see, we're not, our method is not setting the state yet. So to be able to set the state is this dot text like what you normally would. Event, on the event object there be a target dot value. Sorry. And then let's see if our state changed. So let's type in something. As you see, it updated state. So let's display our state. To display it, use an object. Inside this object is valid JavaScript syntax. So any JavaScript is valid. So this dot text as you can see, this is what vModel does for you under the hood. It will set the state and also set the value on your state and also compute re-render it. What about passing prop down to children and stuff? As you can see in the view, with the create a child component, and then with the register in the component object, and then to be able to use it, we have to register it, and then we can render it, and then pass the prop down. We have to use v.bind and a prop name. Let's go to my child component, see what that's look like. So in my child component, it receives some props, receives some text, and have a type of string, and it's required, and then I'm render it on in my template. So how would you do that using JSX? So let's create a component, a child component or another component. So instead of creating another file, the benefit of this using render function or JSX, you don't have to register it, or you can just automatically import that component if you are in a different file, or if you're in the same file, you can use it. So let's create actually uh, let's create a child component. So let's create a child component. Import view from view cons child component view dot extend render and return that template, the markup. So we have a p tag saying this is child component JXX, and also we'll have receive some props. So let's first let me export default this component, and let's register my props. It will receive some text, and the type of it is be a string, and it is require true. And then now we create our child component. So to be able to use it, you will import it like normal, child component, from the path of it. So you normally have to register it, but in using the JXX, you don't have to register it. You can use it after you import it, so you can use it in your template. As you can see, let me see, template is not, might have not saved this. Okay, I didn't save my file. So we got, as you see, child component got render, but it's missing some prop, because I set my prop to a string and it's required, so I get an error log. So but I didn't pass it prop down. So to be able to pass prop down, and now Vue is happy. As you can see in my dev tool, if I type something, my form component have it, and then also my child component also have the text, but I'm not displaying it here because I don't have any. My props is this dot text There you go. So as you can see, we understand how to. The takeaway of using JXX and run function is it feel more JavaScript, but there's some edge case for it. But if you need to, it's nice to know how would you handle using the. As you can see, we're not using any of the directive. We have to convert so the V model and VF. I don't show any VF, so let me show you if so. To show VF, um, let's have a state is true, and let's set this by default by false. So now we want to, let's comment out my child component. So as you can see, I'm showing every time I type it show my text. But what if there's nothing there, don't show nothing. But if there's something there, show it instead. So like VIF or VShow. You would create an object. So anything here is valid JavaScript. So this dot text is not equal to empty string. We do an operator. If that's not true, then render this piece of template. Else, I'm showing you how to do a ternary. So this is another way to do it. If statement is a ternary. So if this is true, do this. Else, do nothing. So as you see, if I start typing and it's appearing, and there you go. I hope you guys got something out of this. Let me know if you like this. Just trying out some things. Make if you guys like to me to continue on showing you guys how to do this using the JavaScript render function or JSX. Or let me know if you like this video or not. Just let me know if you want me to continue with this topic. If you like it, just hit the thumbs up and just let me comment. Or have any question, just let me know. Thank you.